And this is all from an old knowledge, not a new knowledge. It's old knowledge. Okay. So I am gonna. Okay. So Yen, are you paying attention? Okay. So and I'm gonna start giving you own knowledge questions that you have to figure out how the way to do things. Um, so let's open up new tab here. So if I have a log to the, wait, can you guys see that? Maybe I should write it thicker. Okay, log of 4/9 is 27/8. So it'll be 4 to the 9 to the x equal to 27/8. Hopefully you write down this first step. That's a very basic. That's just a heart. Heart, right? And then you say, well, what do they have a common base between two? It doesn't. But you have to learn how to adjust to the question. The question is going to be 4/9x equal to 27/8. So then you say, well, that is equal to maybe 2 to the 2 over 3 to the 2 x equal to 27/8. Does that make sense? And this one, I break down to the most basic things. I always start with the basic. For math, I always start with the basic. So that would be 2/3 to the 2x is equal to 27/8. Now let's work on the right side. 27 is equal to what? 3q, and then how about 28? 2q. Can I write down as 3/2 to the 3? Sorry, this is 2x. Does that make sense? Now I just need to change 3/2, 2/3. How do I change that the same? Negative powers. You learned that from the first lesson. And you guys don't know how to apply through all the old knowledge to the new knowledge. So it'll be 2/3 to the 2x is equal to 2/3. Oh, actually, 2/3. I just flip this, and this becomes a -1 times 3. Why is -1 times 3? Because I flipped that, I have a negative exponents. If I flip a fraction, I'm going to have negative exponents. So to be 2x equal to -3, x equal to -3/2. A lot of people don't know how to adjust. You have to have your own knowledge still with you, and then you adjust to the questions. How did you figure out -2/3?
I think brought it down to the base. I did uh three and then 3/2. And then I just like in my brain I always think like okay I need to multiply it and then I need to divide it. So I multiplied by 3 and then divided that by 2 and I realized that was gonna give me the same answer.
Okay. Any question about here? Let's talk about the first question again. Log of what thing's 2 to the 24, right? Minus log 2 of 8 in this 2 of 3 is equal to what?
Log 5x.
Log of 5x. Now this is a very good for here. Log 2 of 8 is equal to log 5 of x. Now, Safa, what did you do next step?
I finished exponent form, so I did 2 to the log base 5x equals 8.
2 to the what?
Because you draw the heart, then if you like when you turn into exponent form,
From which part? From which base?
you do 2, like 2 is your base, and then your exponent is log equals 8.
Oh yeah, you did it a long way. Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so her way has let me just write down here. So you say it's log. Wait, hold on a second. You say 2 to the what?
Hmm?
2 to the what?
Log base 5x.
2. So 2 to the log base 5x like this
Yeah, equals 8.
equal to 8.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do after that?
And then you could turn 8 into 2 to the third so that they have the same base. And then you would set it equal to each other, so it would be log base 5x equals 3.
Okay. And then 5 to the x is equal to 5 to the third is equal to 125. I like that. I like that. It's a new perspective. Okay, let me connect the old knowledge. Let's listen for the day. How do I find the inverse of this fraction? You're gonna see this on the test. Log 2 of x plus 1 minus 4. Can you find the y inverse? That's not -1 power, that's y inverse. How do I find inverse functions? Good, solve it. Solve for the new inverse function. Let me do this so you don't get confused, because some people think that's confusing. So f of x, I want to look for f inverse of x. So this is on, I just went through 400 question yesterday on the AP College Board. And this is one of the questions that they always tended to ask, is to ask, what's inverse function of this? Now, this is not two birds with one stone. Why? Because it first asks you if you know how to do inverse. Second, it teaches you how to do those questions with the log. How do I find the inverse function? Do you guys remember? Switch the x and y. And what? Solve for the new y. Austin already done? That's fast. Brandon's already done. Remember, I didn't teach you how to do it. You gotta figure out. First, y equal to log 2 of x plus 1. And I switch x and y. How do I solve for y? Huh? No. You add 4 first because you gotta isolate this first. So add 4. So x plus 4 equal to log 2 of y plus 1. How do I get rid of log? No. No. Huh? You can do hard. You're gonna do it 2 ways. I'll show you 2 ways. Hard. So it'd be 2 to the x plus 4 equal to y minus y plus 1. And move the 1 over. 2 to the x plus 4 equal to minus 1 equal to y. So f inverse of x equal to 2 to the x plus 4 minus 1. There's a second way to do it. I'm going to show you. Using the property, the log property. And here you can do log base of 2 of 2 to the x plus 4 is equal to log base of 2 of y plus 1. Wait, hold on a second. I did something wrong. Oh, sorry, not this part. Sorry, I just converted to the other side. This particular part here, you can do 2 to the x plus 4 equal to 2 to the log base of 2 to the y plus 1. So you do raise the power both sides. you can do it this way as well. So it'll be 2 to the x plus 4 equal to y plus 1. And the 2 to the x plus 4 equal to minus 1 equal to y. So you can do it this way as well. So it doesn't matter which way. I like the hard way because the hard is just a lot easier. It's very intuitive. But you can also find a way to get rid of log using a property of log. And this is a property of log. There's a second way. Both ways you should be good at it. Next questions. Okay, I want you to find the inverse of this. Did everybody answer the first one? Emerson, no. Don't be a nodder. A nodder is people just nod. And they say, oh, I understand that. But on the test, they can't. If you have any question, ask. Don't be afraid to ask me questions. So how do I convert this one?
Use him in.
Yeah. How do I find the inverse of this? I'm going to include in this on the test because this one is AP exam asks a lot, so I'm going to include it. They have some cool question, by the way. This is just combine old knowledge and new knowledge. How do I find inverse function? Change your f of x to y. You guys did that? Do you switch the x and y? Now isolate that. Isolate this part. This is what you're trying to isolate. Because you want to get to there. So it'll be x plus 3 is equal to 4 to the 2, the y minus 1. How do I isolate this? Divided by 4. Is equal to 2 to the y minus 1. How do you get rid of 2?
You turn it into a fraction, so
No. A good idea, but no. Actually, I see what you're saying. It might be able to do that. I'm going to talk about that later, but I mean, how to get rid of 2 at this moment. Good thinking, though. I'm going to tell you how do I avoid that. But it still doesn't solve all the problem. How do I get y by itself? This is the exponent form. What can I change? Yes, Armin? Yes, you can. There's 2 ways. So you can draw it this hard way. So it'll be 2 to the x plus 4 over 4 equal to y minus 1. And it'll be 2 to the x plus 4 over 4 plus 1 is equal to the new inverse function. Or you can do what Armin says. You can do 2 to the x plus 4 over 4. You can do a log 2 of. Wait, hold on a second. I did something wrong. I know. Hold on a second. I did something wrong here. I need a log. I'm missing a log. So this one's a log base of 2 to the x plus 4 over 4 is equal to y minus 1. So it'll be log 2 of x plus 4 over 4 plus 1 equal to y. Or the other way, it's going to be log base of 2 of x plus 4 over 4 equal to log 2 of y minus 1. Oh, plus 3. My fault. And this is 3. And then you can do this 2 and 2 cancel out. So it'll be y minus 1 equal to log 2 of x plus 3 over 4. And then I can plus 1 on both sides. So it'll be log 2 of x plus 3 over 4 plus 1 equal to y. I can do it either way. You can do it hard way, it's better. I think it's more idiot proof. Do you guys understand? Now, let's talk about one more thing. What if I have a table, right? And this table is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one is, I don't know, x, and this is y, and this is a, I don't know, this is a 5. And 15 over 2, 45 over 0 to the 5, 15 over 2, 45 over 4, and 135 over 135 over something, I don't know, 12. Okay, so if I have this function like this, and then I say, hey, can you make this function? This is called exponential function. Can I make an exponential function out of here? So there are two values you need to figure out. You need to figure out what A is and what the B is, right? So I will start with first value. Just plug in 0. And that's equal to 5. Does that make sense? A times B to the 0. What's anything to the 0 power? 1. So A is equal to what? 5. Now I'm going to plug in the second coordinate. So I'm going to plug in the second coordinate here. I'm plug in 15 over 2. And that's equal to 5 to the, because 5 we already find out, right? What B is, we don't know. And then to the x. Does that make sense? Well, x is 1. So can I find out what B is? I can divide by both sides by 5, right? So it'll be 3 over 2 equal to B. So then you can figure out that it's a 5 to the 3 over 2x. And then you can figure out what the equation is. On your homework today, I'm going to including this one because it's going to be on your AP exam. And I'm going to put this question on the test. Those two questions are finding inverse, finding the, using the table to figure out the exponential function. You are going to get those. Your test is going to be Thursday again on the logarithm again. Hopefully this time you're going to do a better job. A lot of shitty job on graphing. The problem is you guys graph everywhere and it's wrong. So gotta make sure you gotta do a better job.
Yeah, it's hot in here.
Is it? It's because you.
What's that mean, Mr. Ye?
I don't know. That's why people always say it's because of me.
Are you?
It is hot though.
Oh, nice.
Am I just gonna take the test for the first time on Thursday there?
You might every time fill this out. My doctor got asked for it, so it's all the AAG and stuff like that.
Ooh. Let me put something on top of here before I just screw up. Okay, what's up?
Whenever you can't fill that out, it's for my doctor.
It has to be right now.
No, it doesn't have to be right now. You can get back to me in like a week's time.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
everything okay with you?
You did? I have this just now. I didn't talk. So we found out what's wrong with me. Like after start like ADHD, it's major depressive disorder and anxiety. So that's it. Perfect.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Like I'm fine, but like I got diagnosed with major depressive disorder,
What is
and
that?
depression,
Oh, okay.
like bad, and then anxiety. That's it. From that we're good.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
No, that's not good.
I'm feeling. Let's put it that way. That's
You
good.
need medicine.
I'm not.
They should, right?
It's not as bad as like. Not like the lower scale of bad, so I don't need medicine. But like, I'm gonna get on those.
But are you gonna like have therapy sections?
Yeah. I'm on
What are you talking?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I'm a perfect person, but you can always talk to me. Hi.
Like, you have to like reward us for like bringing it,
For what? For you fail a test?
for bringing it.
Oh, for you bring it, yeah.
That was horrible. Because I was literally sitting in my car like this the whole time, holding it. Because it was awful.
I thought you have a straps on though.
What?
Just drive very slow, I guess.
I was on the interstate. I was like, I can't drive. I was like 16. Yeah, no. I was going 60 because I went 60 and like I really started going up and I started feeling shaking again. Like, we got here though, all in one piece.
Yeah.
I didn't understand anything they said. I was assuming it was like some white ass, like, oh, we don't need this table anymore, our kids left. But no, they look like they like played ping pong professionally. I didn't understand anything I said. They just like picked it up, put it on my truck, and started like wrapping it up. Oh yeah, it's
It was $150. I thought
that's really good.
I thought it was a steal for that type of table. I think just material alone is not even. It's
Do you
more
have
than
the actual patterns?
I have in my car. I have two. That's it.
Where are we gonna put it?
Pretty much good.
Like, is it just gonna sit there?
It's a mystery inside.
It's functional.
If you fail a test, then we put you in there. Grind you to make pieces.
Ping pong table?
No. It's a grinder. If you fail a test, we put you in grinder.
Is that part of the stretchers? Or like you put all your legs?
What? What is that?
People who. Wait, guys, we have a quiz. No. It's about you're joking. You're like, it's about people who make people and make
That like sounds like my type of play.
it's interesting. And then I put it like it's
over. It's over. It's over. Like two things. I just feel
I put like to like
Yeah, I don't mind it.
What? Why did it crack?
I'm glad you put that back.
I can't
Easy. Right?
Oh, you barely even like two.
All right, so hopefully you guys have good holiday. I didn't give you the homework. I should. But I know you guys will be like not doing or
I miss you with a break.
Huh?
I miss you.
You were his dream. He didn't respond like a day or two as well. He got left on. I had the notifications on my phone.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Am I gonna say like you're not my type? All right. So obviously, you guys saw the color chart. Okay. The color chart is representing. It's not for sure yet, right? It's not for sure yet. Is a lot of you guys are the color chart maybe feel like it's I'm not saying it's gonna be for some of you guys gonna feel like kind of discouraging. And the goal is not to discourage you, it's encourage you to move up the right color. Obviously, I have a lot of students, and there are only 2 that's in blue, and nobody in AB. Okay, and there's a reason why you are not that you guys in AB, then you guys haven't covered all the material yet. So that's a reason why that no one is in blue.
If we took the exam like this.
This is a maybe like that. Just say if you didn't, you still gonna like you still taking a lesson to end of the year, and that's like you stop working. If you stop working, then it's probably end up to be that color, like you stop working. But the thing is, like I said, in the past, for example, Harmon last year, I don't know if you guys know Harmon. Harmon, I have him for A, B, and B, C. But when I have Harmon, he is red at this moment in time. You know, he's an Indian guy. Pretty smart. Never does his homework, kind of like Joshua. And I had to call the parents. And of course, all the Indian people own like 7-Eleven. And his parents like, 7-Eleven, can I help you? And I'm like, okay. So
Is that a true story, or are you just like saying?
no, his parent does own gas station.
Okay.
I made up the 7-Eleven. But yeah, he did own a gas station. So what happened is, his parents beat his ass. And then after that, he started doing homework, and then he got he from a red to change to blue very, very quickly. But he's also very, very smart as well. Now there are a lot of students like this changing from a red to a blue. I won't say a lot. There was probably in the past I had probably like a handful, probably 7 to 8. So it's not like impossible. Some of you guys probably think that's impossible. No, it's not impossible to do. But you just need to make sure you show up to school, show up to class, and try to pay attention and all that. Okay, Rayhang, you missed a test. So you're taking it right now.
Oh, right.
Nope, right now.
There is no after school, right? Oh yeah. Why?
Because they
don't.
Yes.
Oh, this is average.
You say you're gonna come in on Friday, but you never show up.
I mean, I texted her.
I purposely left it because I'm pissed. All right.
5 people watch this. It's only 5 people. It's here.
Shh. Why you should change color? Let's talk about why. First of all, if you guys go into engineering, they only take a 5 on UCF, which is, I don't know why they only take a 5, but some school only take a 5 because AP exam is gotten dumbed down so much that they only take a 5. If you're liberal art, let's just say if you want to be an English major, then yeah, you can get a 3 and it'll be fine. Now, if you want to go to medical school, for some of you guys, I will get a 5 just because first thing is, you know, I have to, if I were you, I would try to get a 5 just because then that means you don't have to take any more math. You're done with math right now at this moment. You don't even need to wait for next year. You're done with math right now. You don't even need to take Calc BC because most of the people that are doctors, you don't need a BC Calc. In the UF curriculum for medicine or pharmacy or anything like that, is required Calc 1. And that's it. So you're done. You don't need to take math. Yes.
If you get like a 4, do you get like at least some of the hours put off? Like you get them.
If you get a 4, it'll be fun too, but I won't aim for a 4.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't aim for a 4. I'll aim for a 5 because the 5 is, I think the only way I can say is that you have some type of understanding is a 5. If you got 4 or less, that means you don't understand enough. And if you don't understand enough, that's gonna maybe hurt you taking different classes. For example, some engineering, the physics is 2048, and for MD is 2053. Now you sound like 2053 is higher number, but 2053 physics is without calculus. 2048 is with calculus. So you want to take the one with the calculus is actually easier, believe it or not, because you can take a derivative of integral. It's much easier than do it without calculus. So physics without calculus is actually slightly harder. So for me, I'll make sure I get a calculus credit. Any question about yellow, red, orange? Basically, if you have green, it's a 4. If you have blue, it's a 5. If you have yellow, it's roughly a 3. If you have orange is a 2 and red is 1. And I don't think it's being a 1 right now is a big problem, but I think if you don't work on it, it becomes a big problem. So like I said, you need to learn how to fix the problem that you don't know how to do. So I have no problem you guys fail tests. I have a problem you don't do shit after you fail tests. So after tests is very important. Like a lot of you guys, like for example, like some of you guys after you fail a test, you're like, oh okay, I take whatever L, whatever, right? But that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is actually go learn it. So there are 2 choices after a test. One is it becomes your ability, or the other choice is it becomes your liability. So if you don't go back and understand it, it becomes your liability. And if you go back to understand, it becomes ability. So there was a difference. You have choice still, even after a test. So you got to figure out a way to overcome that and just say, okay, let me try to understand as much detail as I can. If I don't understand it, then how can I understand? And if I understand it, how can I understand more? Now, when you can explain somebody how things work, that's where you are become masteries. Okay, so the only 2 people are blue. One is Anthony, and one's Matthew Sheldon. And they are the only 2 people I'll give a blue to right now, because what they can do is they are even another tier. They are another level. Why do I give them blue at this moment, even though they didn't finish BC? In a question they don't know how to do, they will figure out a way to do it. That's on another level. They don't need to be taught. I don't need to teach Matthew Sheldon anything. I don't teach Anthony anything. They would get a 5 on AP exam without me teaching anything, because they will probably figure out, go on YouTube, figure out right away 2 days before a test, and they probably cram it and they go do it. But they're not a type. They enjoy solving problems. They're on the math team for a reason. Another thing, let's talk about math team. I really recommend you to join the math team to compete in Orlando Science. And I right now have 8 or 9 people on BC. I'm still looking for 11 people in AB. Even you suck. Like I said, I don't know. Some of you guys kind of suck at math. And let's say Lyndon, for example, he suck at math. So Lyndon, I will ask him to join. The reason why is I want him to learn to compete in the highest level. Why aiming at compete at highest level? Because you go there, you learn how to compete, because you are going to compete with the same kid when you go to the medicine honors program. Because he's aiming for honors program, medicine program. Guess what? You're going to compete with same kid that's sitting next to you. And they're about to kick your ass every single damn test. And you had to find a way to overrun them. Okay, so there are 2 levels. There are another student who got in Stanford. They don't have, like, for example, one of my students, Emilio Rivas, got to Stanford. He said everybody is smarter than him. But at the end of the semester, he got an A, and the rest of the people got a B. He found a way to outgrow them in very short amount of time. And that's what's the difference between a great student or just mediocre student. If you just learn to be on the top, that's fine. But if that student can adapt and surpass, that's what I'm looking for. Is adapt and surpass. So I'm really looking for some people to join the competitions. I know some people can, some people cannot, but it's January 27. You go into there, take a test. You're not going to be on the team. Now, why on the team is important? On the team is going to be BC kids. AB kids only take an individual test, 30 questions. You get to see different type of question. You get to see different kind of range. You can figure out, what kind of range of problem you can adopt. There are questions very difficult, but it's good. Okay, so if you want to join, let me know. Okay, that's that. Get your notes out. We're going to talk about the next thing. All right. Get your notes out. I'll take. I need to check one more thing before I start. All right, so so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you one of the things that is shit. Why is it not on that? Oh, there it is. One of the things that is always on AP exam. Who am I missing besides Julissa? Because I'm talking about very important lesson today. Oh well. I'll just record it. Okay. So one of the most important things that you're gonna learn is fundamental theorem of calculus. I remember I put this question on the test before. Do you guys remember? I say, hey, I have something like this. And I have something like this. And this is a f prime of x. And I said f of 0 is equal to 8. And can you find out what's f of 3? Do you guys remember how to do this? By the way, you don't need to find the equation of line. I know some of you guys thinking about finding equation of line. I think Alvin is trying to find the equation of line. You don't need to find the equation of line. Huh? Your brain dead?
I don't know.
It's so bad. It's
If you get it, raise your hand. Only one. Let me change some colors. Maybe some of yellow is not deserving. So Lyndon need to change color, Alvin need to change color to orange. Riaz need to change your color to orange.
You know, they reviewed over the wind break and they should go higher.
Laxmi need to change color, Ria need to change color.
Extend to be.
No, that color you're gonna have to earn it. This is not even earning it. This is retain the color. This is to not lower the color. This question's not lower the color.
Maybe the only Hey, make sure you ask Rob this question. See if he gets it. He can lower his color. If you What? This is not a new
Sophia, got it? Sophia can retain its color to keep her color at yellow.
Sophia's. Oh, wait, it's actually so. You should lower body's color though.
All those yellow is gonna go back to orange. So, fundamental theorem of calculus, super important. Integration of f prime of x, right? Between 0 to 3. Why? Because this tells me the boundary is equal to f of 3 minus f of 0. Does that make sense? And this is the area under curve. This is 4.5 is equal to f of 3 minus f of 0. And I move the 0 over. So f of 3 is equal to f of 0 plus 4.5, which is 8 plus 4.5 is equal to 12.5. It's not equation of the line. Nothing to do with that. And this is one of the questions always tested on AP exam. You have to know the question that always tested. I don't care about the question that tested every blue moon, but this is the question that's always tested. You have to know it. So that's gonna start with we're gonna start with this lesson here, and it's gonna be bunch worksheets. And this is first time you're exposed to something, but it's really normal. I'm gonna email it. I'm gonna send it to you. So I'm gonna airdrop to you if you turn on your airdrop. Yeah, but this is a little bit harder than this, so.
Video. Video.
Now, this is probably the only most important worksheet that you're gonna get all year because this composed 10% of AP exam. 10%.
Is this its own unit?
Huh?
TC.
I'm so glad you make it. Everything okay? Huh?
Yes.
Okay. I just find out Julissa work at Publix.
Always do. What do you do? Everyone will be working at home, man. I put the phone.
You know Chase works at home too?
No way.
Yeah, I'm trying to change Java Universal. So bad because see cheats.
I just wait my classes.
You switch out the this class?
No, I have college.
Oh. All right. So I'm glad you can make it because we're talking about 10% of AP exam right here. So if you don't understand any worksheet, you can understand this one. But you just have to understand it. And I don't count it AP calculus. This part is called AP counting. If you're good at counting, you should be good. But you gotta make sure that you know what you're doing. So this is one part. Let's do it. Okay. So this is the first question. How do I find H of 3? How do I find H of 3?
Did someone send it in the group chat?
Here, let me airdrop to you. Hold on a second. I need airdrop to you, Julissa. This is today's homework. Anybody else need me airdrop them? What kind of VPN you have?
Extra eggs. It's a skill issue.
Julissa, I don't see your phone.
He sent it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Who sent it?
I don't know, I appreciate it.
Guys, this is 10% of AP exam, and you don't need to know how to do math. You just need to understand how to understand it. You don't need to know how to take integral. You don't need to understand how to take derivative. You just need to understand notation difference. And that's it. What's H of 3? Can anybody find out what H of 3 is? No. Dumbass. Because you're not thinking.
Oh, is it 2.5?
No, Kevin. So to be fair, you never seen this question. So let me go through it with
Wait.
you.
Yeah, no, it's 0 to x. Not give you the function of x, and you have to do the integral 0 to x, right?
So what is it? Mister, I should change my color to blue.
Yes, you can. Look at these people just looking at the function of x. It's pretty easy. Right.
It's not 3 either. It's not 2. It's not 2.5.
11.
Yeah.
It's 11.
Bros blue already now.
Is it 11 or 12?
No, I see 11. Dude, count.
I got 11. No,
1, 2,
it's one
3,
less
4,
square.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 75 plus 5, 2, 3, 4, 8.
Guys, write shit down. So write down h of x is equal to from 0 to x of f t dt. And this is the f of x. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter what kind of variable you plug in. It's just a function. So we're going to look at that. We says, okay, well, if you want to find 3, that means I'm replace this with 3. Right? So this is f of x here. So, and t just another variable, doesn't matter in this case. So basically just 0 to 3, integration between 0 to 3. So it's going to be right here. So that's 10, that's 11. That's equal to 11.
Mr. Yan.
You like, I can
So if you have like h of like 4, for example, that provides you your a value.
It provide you, it's a to b is provide you b value. It's to change that, replace that x with 3. And that means 0 to 3 of f of t dt, that's equal to 11. Because that's area under the curve.
Why do you assume the a value is 0?
They say it's at 0. Look at it. I didn't assume.
Oh,
You gotta read. You gotta read every word, every number, everything you can think of. And you gotta write shit down. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, that's 0 to 3, and then which is a definite integral. I love that. Well, how you explained it is perfect. And definite integral is just area under the curve. Now, here's my question. What is h prime of 3? It becomes harder.
We take the slope at that point, make that whatever, or is it?
I don't know.
Isn't it that thing that you get big geometric?
She's actually right. So, I'll give you a try first. How many of you guys can get h prime of 3? She's not on the right. She's on the right track. But the thing is, how do I perform it though? Easy point on AP exam. Easy point. Yes.
Is it 0?
No. You're guessing without logic.
Because
No. Leave it down.
So let's take this function again, right? And let's copy it. Let's paste it. And hey, how do I get h prime of 3? That means what? I have to do what? Good. I have to take a derivative, right? So that's h prime of x. Does that make sense? Equal to d to the dx of 0 to x of f of t dt. What happens if you take integration? That becomes big F of x minus f of 0. Does that look familiar? And now take a derivative of this. It's going to be f of x times 1 because chain rule. Because derivative inside is chain rule. Minus f of 0 times derivative of 0 is what? 0. So this whole thing go away. So h prime of x is equal to f of x. If you write down like this on AP exam, they give you 1 point just for writing down that. Does that make sense or no? Just like what Julissa says. Julissa said, is that just, yes, when you have an x right here as an expression, they will always find a way to ask you what's the derivative of this.
So if they say double prime, is it similar?
So what do you think double prime is? Yes. Julissa, you're coming late, but she's awake. So what is h prime of 3? Is equal to what? 2. Alright, I said you are just gonna be AP counting. 1, 2. What's h double prime of 3? What? Why? That's the slope, because derivative means slope. Got it? All right. B. For what set of value of x is h decreasing? Remember, this is 10% of your AP exam. Sometimes, if you understand this, just enough for you to get a 3. Also, you're gonna have to get lucky on MCQ, but I'm telling you, it's AP counting. You just have to count the squares, like Lyndon is doing. Anybody can propose me an answer? Mm-hmm. So h of 3 is equal to 11. H prime of 3 is equal to 2. H double prime of 3 is equal to -2 because slope is -2. Well, what set of value of x is h decreasing? Can you tell me what is the subject here? The subject is what?
It should be, I think the intervals are 2 and 4, and then 7 and 12. That's when that like little thing gets smaller. It's
2 and 4. No.
so if it's h of x equal to the integral, what do you do when the integral or when the area under the curve is negative? So then you have to like cancel out like the triangle, and you end up getting like 8, 12.
It's easier than that. Yes.
2 to 7.
It's not 2 to 7.
No, it's too basic.
No. Dude, what's the subject? Subject is what? In this sentence, what's the subject? What is the subject that they are caring about? It's one letter. Is what? No.
H?
H. H is a subject. Good. We are paying H is decreasing. That means H prime of X must be negative. Does that make sense? This means H prime of X must be less than 0. But H prime of X is what? What's H prime of X? F of X. And when does which X value when F of X is negative? 4 to 12. And that's how you're going to write it, 4 to 12. Because they are below x-axis. Because of this one here. Does that make sense or no? Okay. The subject is a H. And they want to ask what happened with H. They say, well, what happened when H is decreasing? H is decreasing, that means H prime of X is negative. Does that make sense? Now, H prime of X is equal to what? F of X. This is the F of X graph. They are basically asked when does F of X is decreasing. That's it. So you have to think about analyzing graph. You have to think about they are below x-axis. That means f of x is negative. If it's negative, it must mean decreasing on the h of x.
When I think about what it says when it's decreasing, is that it's below the x.
No. When they're talking about h is decreasing, that means h prime of x is negative. But since h prime of x equal to f of x, now I'm looking at f of x is negative, which is below x-axis. Now, what value does h attain its maximum?
What's the correlation when we would do f of x line and f prime of x line, and we would check it?
Take a derivative from f of x to f prime of x, taking derivative.
No, I'm asking what's the correlation when we see if the graph is below the x.
Below the x-axis means negative. But, so, like I say, this is talking about h, right? And when we say decreasing, that means prime is negative, right? Does that make sense? But since h prime of x is less than 0, it's same thing as saying due to this part that we understand from before, that means f of x is less than 0. Since this is f of x graph, when they're less than 0, that means below x graph. Okay. So, well, what value is h attain its maximum? Alvin? What? Can you explain to everybody why x equal to 4?
When h prime of x goes from positive to negative.
Ah. He's got very good thinking, yes. Does everybody understand him or no? Adam, do you understand him?
He's saying like, just to clarify, it's when the graph goes from positive to negative, like it gets the change.
Yeah, but that's f of x. So when f of x is going from positive to negative, that's also implying h prime of x went from positive to negative. That means went from increasing to decreasing. Is that okay?
How does the crossing like show that it's maximum? Positive and negative.
Amanda, do you understand? Don't just nod. Nod is bad. If you don't understand, go like this. You sure? Erie, do you understand? Erie? Sort of? Okay, which part you don't understand? Sort of is not good enough. Tell me which part you don't understand.
I think I do, but it's just I don't understand like increasing to decreasing.
That means positive to negative. That means above x-axis to below it. So because f of x is implying h prime of x. Since we are subject is h prime of x. So we are saying h prime of x is went from negative, so from positive to negative. So so that is also means f of x, h prime of x went from positive to negative is also implying f of x from positive to negative. So above x-axis is a positive, and this is negative. Because this implying original function is gonna, from all this point is original function is positive, so it's going up. And after that, slope is equal to 0, so it's gonna plateau and come back down. But you also talk about the area accumulate. Just think about I'm eating, I don't know, chocolates. I'm eating 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, 4 piece, 5 piece, 6 piece, 8 piece, 9 piece, 10 piece, 11 piece, 11 pieces right here, all the way to here. And after that, this moment, my stomach is the fullest, right? After that, I'm going to digest. So all this is digestion right there. All the below x-axis. I don't know if that makes sense. I totally just come up with that. I don't know. Because Erie like to eat.
Question on one of your steps.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like point at it because I don't wanna like confuse you. A little up right here. You have dx, right? But it's function of t3t. How does that work?
It doesn't matter what a function is because when I take integration, it's gonna be big F, right?
Okay.
If I take an integration, it's big F of t, right? But if you plug in the boundaries, it become x. So big fx minus f of 0.
So if it's
That's a fundamental theorem, calc 1, is plug in the boundaries.
Is it
Now I
kind of-
change it to f of x.
it's kind of like what you do with the u stuff, how you change it, the terms that it's. Okay.
Okay, at what value does a h attain its minimum? Ari, you say if you understand, when does it reach minimum? It could be. It could be. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It never crossed from negative to positive. Good. But you know minimum can occur at endpoints. Could be what? No, not 7.
It has to be from 0 to 12.
Mm,
It is
no. Well, can you tell me what is it? It's one value. It's a 1x value. X is equal to what? It's 12.
Yeah.
Because its boundary stop at 12. Why? Just imagine that you're eating chocolate, right? And you're eating all those 11 pieces, but you digest a lot more. So you're, I don't know. That's a good analogy. That's probably a really shitty analogy. But, huh? It's good. So at this point, it's gonna you're consuming more than you actually take in. So at the lowest part is your minimum. Does that make sense? Or you're running forward. Let's just say you're running forward here, right? All this part is running forward, and at that point you turn around. It's running backwards, and we are looking at final displacement. So the minimum value. So what's the minimum value here, though? What's the difference between this question and this question? When does the h attain minimum, and what is the minimum value? What's minimum value in this case? Yes.
-1?
No. Minimum value is not -1. Lowest y value. So what is y value?
Wait, no, you have to take the inner. Right?
Idea, yeah. But you don't need it because of the area on the curve, though.
Yeah, you just count.
You just count. AP counting. That's why I call it AP counting. You don't have to understand algebra. You can be shit in algebra. And you can still pass calculus because of this lesson. And that means you have to understand 100% of it.
Is it 14.5?
14.5 is good.
Negative 14.5, sorry.
Negative 14.5. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Now, how did he get negative 14.5? Just kind of think about it. Let's just say if this area here is positive, right? So for me, like I do it two ways. Why I do that? I just say imagine that this the blue is positive, right? So this now I can figure out a way to offset too. So think about this area, right? Does that offset this part? Does that offset that part, the blue part and the red part? Does that offset? Well, I can offset another a square, so that's going to be offset this a square. So this red part and the blue part is exactly equal. Okay, so all we gotta do is figure out this triangle, which is 3 times 2, and this trapezoid right here. Well, is that trapezoid? No, that's not. That's actually 4, and this is 3, and this is a trapezoid right here. So this is 3, 4, and this is 4 plus 1 divided by 2. So it'd be 5 over 2 times 3. So it'd be 15 over 2. So 15 over 2, which is 7.5 plus 7, so it's 14.5. So it's actually negative 14.5. So basically, is minimum value is integration from 0 to 14, 0 to 12, sorry, of f of prime f of t dt, and is equal to 14.5 negative. Does everybody make sense?
You have to see where it's where you touch the
From positive to negative. But you know how minimum value can minimum maximum value can occur at endpoints as well. So you have to check the endpoint. In this case, this happened at endpoint. And throughout the interval, that's going to be a lowest value. So that's going to be a minimum. So it's called absolute minimum. Mm-hmm.
which is also minimum.
Yes, because the minimum can occur at an endpoint. Doesn't have to be what Erie says from negative to positive. It's just at the end because you actually consume more than it takes. Yes.
Minimum value is not the same thing as like the thing where you said it was like negative to positive. That's just minimum, right? It's minimum.
Yeah, negative to positive. But think about this. Let's just say, that's why I said gross GDP. Right? You guys have economics, right? So let's just say at the first 4 years, you got surplus. You got surplus of this amount. But after that one point, you start have, what's the opposite of surplus? Deficit. Okay, so you start having deficit. But at first you're okay because even though you're deficit, you still can eat in your what your surplus before. So this, the red part and the blue part, is kind of say they are offset each other. But happen at a 7 year later that they start gonna be more deficit. That's what happened in this country right now. It's more deficit as they keep on going. The only way to turn around is have that positive trajectory. But right now we are right here. Let's just say this is 12th year. We still have a deficit, and the minimum value is asking how much deficit they are throughout the last 6 years. Okay.
It's not max.
Yeah, there is a maximum value here. What's the maximum value here? No, it's 12. Because 11 is only to 3. 12 is to 4. You wanted this particular point right here. Somebody raise your hand. Looks, yeah. Yes.
Would the maximum value just be the area under the curve for where it's positive?
Yep, from 0 to 4.
Then what is minimum value of the whole function?
Minimum value because so minimum value can occur at the endpoints. Remember we talked about before. Minimum value can occur. That's why you do a table. You compare the endpoints and the critical points. Critical point is a happen at 4, but that's a maximum value. But endpoint you have to compare. So whatever is the lowest value is absolute min. Does that make sense? It's from the relate from the chapter from the last year.
Can you just use the intervals to explain it too?
Yeah. Okay, so the next question. Wait, is time almost up? Okay, good. You guys gonna figure out this.
What's the difference between minimum value and
Where x occur has minimum, x is x value. The minimum value is the output. It's the result. X is telling you where it happened. So let's just say in national deficit and surplus. The x, when does x happen? That means which year that they have from a surplus to a deficit. Now, at that particular year, how much things you have accumulated? Let's think about. I don't know what's the economic term of that. It's total surplus. How much surplus that year? So that's the output. So let's just say you have surpluses first year of $3 million, and second year has $2 million. Then your surplus is going to be $5 million a year. But when they cross x-axis, that's when it becomes negative. But as soon as I cross the x-axis, you have a total accumulate all the positive money, and then after that you start spending more than you make.
Is geo -2 for the second question, -3?
It's actually positive 3.
Positive. But why is it positive and not negative?
You had to positive because you have to do that. And if I didn't finish, watch the rest of the video, but I didn't get to finish too much. But that's to say, if it's 0 to the -2 of f of x, right? So that is going to be negative of -2 to 0. I told you I don't like that orientation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's going to be negative of -3, so that's equal to 3.
Great day, Mr. Ram.
You too. By the way, I have a ping pong table now, so
Oh.
yeah, and huh? I didn't buy it from Luke. I buy it from a random Chinese guy.
Is this our homework?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't give a shit about what.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure.
Okay, and as soon as you don't understand, you gotta raise your hand. Today
Yeah.
I hear your voice for the first time, but you gotta speak up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I understand this part for the most part. I'm gonna play.
Okay.
No homework coming.
Okay.
Thank you.
But you still need to understand your old test, your last test. Do you understand everything from your
Yeah,
last
I
test?
redid it like the day before break. I think I got it.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Like I say, it's not a problem to fail a test, but the problem is you still keep it don't understand.
Yeah.
You can choose to have a liability or ability. So I will choose to understand it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Thank you.
You don't look awake. You don't look awake.
Morning.
Stop showing. I saw a video clip of LeBron James, and I forgot what's his name. Somebody is playing. LeBron James playing something. Oh, LeBron James and Marcus Smart, and they play each other, and they both like hit each other, and they both laying down on the ground and holding their knee like grimace over like everything, and I try to sell a file. That's why he's not greatest for me. Yeah. That's why he's always weak. Michael Jordan got knocked down, he get back up.
Knocked down. He retired for 2 years.
Oh, that's because of gambling issue though.
They rub it 55.
What? Your dream come true? What? What's your dream? Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, I'll stay in there.
Not good. Washington versus Michigan. Washington didn't know. It was that. That was the championship game too.
Oh no, wait. They're the tournament?
No, that was the grand.
That's the national championship. Oh, I went to eat at your restaurant. Wait, how do you sell? That was actually a good one. She's like, shoot, hopefully I didn't pick my nose.
My mom showed me where's my thank you card? You know, Miss Stalker, she wrote me a thank you card for the gift card. I didn't see what
I don't know how to write. It'll be like misspelled everywhere. That's me. It's gonna be like kindergarten.
EY, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, so shh. Is everybody here today? Ashbear, you missed a test, right? You ready? You had to make up right now. Okay. That's fine.
My phone's so
All right, so shh. Okay, so obviously you guys already saw this. Oh, not supposed to show you, gray. But this one here is the color chart. Now, your student ID is right here, and that color represents your probably more predictable grade that it's going to be that in the AP exam. Now, some people is gonna say, "Well, man, my life's over. It's gonna be a red." But I'm gonna say it's possible for you to turn a red to all the way to a blue. It's possible, not unlikely. I've seen it done before. I've seen it done several times. So throughout my teaching career, I have seen people like finish strong. So how do you finish strong? Is just be relentless, not give up on the questions. If you give up, then just pick yourself back up. You had to find a way to pick up yourself back up. Why? Because, for example, I don't know, does anybody know Harmon? Last year he's a senior. Harmon? Okay, it's a one Indian dude. He's got a red all the way to this moment, right? And his parents owns like all Indians own gas station. So I'm just kidding. So I call the parents at this moment. I says, "Hey," and I call him. He's like, 7-Eleven, may I help you? I'm like, okay. Just kidding. This not really happened. But his dad did own a gas station. So after I call his dad beat his ass, and then after that, he started doing his homework. Before that, he never did his homework. He just looked at it, skimmed through. He's like, "Oh, I think I got it." Kind of like Joshua, kind of same situation. Okay, and then he got his second quarter grade is an F, and then so I don't usually give people F, but I give him F. It's because he didn't do anything. So that's what happened. But at the end of the third quarter, he started turning around. So he started to understand certain things. So for example, that anybody here that is red right now, so obviously there are 3 students here is red, and there's a lot more orange, and there's a lot of yellow here. So whatever your red, yellow, orange is not relevant to what your final grade is. So your final grade is going to determine on how hard you wanting to work right now. Giovanna, shush. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. Okay? It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. Because you can actually finish really strong. Ideally, I want everybody to turn the blue. Ideally. This chart is going to be updated monthly. So at the end of the month, I'll be like, go back to change some colors. But then as you see, nobody is green right now. Yeah, because we haven't finished talk about everything. And I also don't know what's your work ethic until end of the year. Right? So that's as much as I can give you as yellow. And it doesn't mean that, oh my God, that's a C. No, it's not a C. It just right now is that. Last year I have updated is all pretty much half the chart is 40% of the chart is blue. End up at end of the year AP exam 40% got a 5. I have 1 year, I have one class got 60% 5. 60%. That means 10 out of 6 students have 5. It could be this classroom depending on how hard you want to help each other out. You can help out each other because when you are strong in helping another student, they get stronger. And if that student decide to help another student, they get stronger. So it's kind of accumulations. So this is the color chart. Does anybody have any questions about the color chart? It's not to discourage you in any sorts of ways. I promise you, I do not try to discourage you because I wanted you to use that as an encouragement. Says, okay, I see a color change. I see a color change. Because if you are blue, then the only color you can go is still blue. But I have seen some student that one point I know like there's one girl, her name, I still remember her name, Andy Kim, about 6 years ago. Andy was a blue the whole time, and the last 9 weeks she got a boyfriend, and then it went from a blue to a yellow. So she got a 3 on AP exam. So she got first 3 quarters she have A, and she went from a red, so from a blue to a yellow. Because her boyfriend cheated on other girls, so. Yeah, don't get boyfriend. They're no good. Matt, Wesley, you can get a girl boyfriend. It's okay. It's a 21st century. All right. So any question about the color chart? Okay. So we're gonna talk about a subject that anybody can do here. So this is the shortest path to get to a 3 on AP exam. For some of you guys, 3 is good enough. 4 is good enough. I prefer everybody get 5. I prefer everybody get 5. I don't like 3s. I don't like 4s. Like the only like goal in my life is make sure everybody got a 5. That had never happened yet. The highest percentage that got a 5 is 2 years ago. It's a 50% 5. So 50% of student is 5, and they're usually around 5 to 8% who don't pass. So hopefully this year is going to be the 1 year that everybody pass, and probably like 70% of 5. I don't know if that's possible, but at least that's my goal. My goal is to make sure everybody gets 5. So that's that. Oh, another thing is math competitions. Math competition in January 27th. Anybody is welcome to join. All you gotta do is let me know. For me, I recommend anybody who want to join. I think some people already talked to me. I I have 8 people in BC. I had registered for 20 people. Hopefully, I can come up with 12 people to take it. I really want you to do it. Here's a reason why I want you to do it. It's not like you're gonna win. No, there's no chance you're gonna win. I'm gonna say that right now. There's no chance. 0 points is negative chance. That there's no way that you can win. Okay, there's no way that you can win. So but that's not a mentality though. The goal is to go over there to compete with the best of the best. So for example, Ria want to be a doctor, right? Okay, so she want to be a doctor. And guess what? When you go to college, you no longer will compete with a bunch of idiots in Olympia. You will compete with all the highest level of kids throughout different high school. And let's just go to UF, for example. If you go to UF, everybody have 1400 on SAT. There's nobody with like 1180. There's nobody with 950. There's nobody with 860. Nobody there. Everybody at 1400. How do you compete with other people that has 1400? And that's a minimum score to go to UF, 1400. Because some people are gonna have 1500, some people are gonna have 1600. How do you compete with that? Is to learn how to compete with a harsh environment. So when you go there, you're gonna score a something. So for example, I have one student. She went to Vanderbilt. She's becoming doctor right now. Her name is Suha. Suha got a -2 on that test. -2. How'd you get -2? Because if you guess it wrong, they actually take a penalty points. They take out 1 point away.
How did they know if you guessed?
You got it wrong.
Oh. If you just get a question wrong.
So if you don't answer anything, you're not gonna get negative. No, but you have to earn some points. So if you, the more you earn, the better off. So when you earn some point, that you can get some positive. So Suha, after the test, she started crying. She's break down. She's like, "I'm such an idiot." I said, "No, this is what you need to be here. Why? Because you're competing with the best of the best. In the future, you are competing with those kids. And you're gonna have to learn from this failure. And I want you to learn how to fail. In judo, you learn how to fall first. In karate, you learn how to defense first, how to have a footwork first. But in judo, it's a very, very good amount. They actually make you learn how to fall first. You learn how to fall first. And this is the things that you don't get too many chances to fall. You only have one AP exam. The more exam that you goes to, the more like those calculus competition. The more you fall, every time you fall, you learn something for it. And that's something that will benefit for you for AP exam. So it's like, take it as a practice for AP exam. So I will encourage you guys to take it. Even though you say, I might suck at it. I'm Zayden. He come into me, he's like, "Mr. Ye, I'm going to get 30 wrong. I'm going to get -30. I say, go for it. I don't give a shit about what score you have. I give a shit that you go in there, you try to figure out what's the right answer. Because in order to get 30 wrong, you had to be very smart. Even I try, I don't think I can get 30 wrong. To get -30 points. Because that means you had to know all the right answer to guess it wrong. So it's actually very difficult as well. I think at a final point, you get -18. Because you had to answer every question and you had to know all the questions. So it's actually hard. So January 27, if you want to join, let me know. You can just treat it as go in, take a 30 question, multiple choice question. It's on the morning around Saturday is at night. You have to be there at 8:30. After that, we take a field trip to Viennese Festival. Last year we actually take a field trip to Viennese Festival. Right next to it is Dalton Market. It's a pretty cool cultural field trip. So if you want to go, that's that. Okay, anyway. Next thing we're gonna talk about is this one. Somebody already airdrop on WhatsApp, but I can airdrop to you if you want. So quick share. If you want me airdrop, I just airdrop to you right now. This is today's homework. If you want me airdrop to you, I'll just airdrop to you. I don't see other people besides those. Wait, you got an iPad? Why don't you just use your iPad? Huh? Don't want to? It'll be easier.
It's on the same icon.
Huh?
It's on the same icon.
Okay. I will download the Notability. Notability is a good app, even though it costs money, but it's a very good app. You don't have money?
Yeah.
Like what? You pay for your own insurance? Oh, that's very awesome.
So much. It's a little bit off.
No, that's a learning responsibility. You are more mature than all the kids combined here. No, your parents taught you well. When I was eating your restaurant, I was telling my son, I was like, "You're gonna be working because I'm not paying for your damn bill." And I was like, "My student work here, like 2 days a week, right?"
It's always been great. You go to.
The one over Windermere. I think I see your brother, right? Is that your brother? White.
With like this long brown hair.
Same type of hair, same color hair.
Well, he's not blonde. But yeah, he's probably there.
All right, so we're gonna start with this question. So good news is this. It doesn't matter what color you have. Everybody can understand this because it's not a lot of math. It doesn't have a lot of algebra you have to deal with. So like Omar says, I'm bad algebra. This has no algebra. I call this, this part is AP counting. I don't even count it as AP calculus, it's AP counting. If you know how to count, then you should be okay. Okay? I know that's a high task for some people. Tall task. So let's try this question. I want you to give it a try and look at what the first question is and try to read the whole question before you knowing what to do. But yeah, I will guide you through it. But anybody can do this part. Anybody can do this question. Wait, where's Isabel? You never seen how to do this question? It's very fair to tell me it says you don't know how to do it. Anybody would like to take a stab for how to find h of 3? Read the whole question though. I want you to read learning how to read. I hear one right answer. I think Anderson knows what he's doing. Oh, by the way, that girl Suha, she got a Vanderbilt for right. She got a -2 on the math competition. It made her a much stronger student though. All right. Anybody want to take a stab? Raise your hand. I know Anderson's already got it. Anybody else? No one? Jamie?
Maybe you take the area under the curve from 0 to 3.
Which is what?
11.
So 2 people got it. Mainly you have to write down this information, especially this. Let h. Let me change the color. That h of x is equal to 0 to x of ft dt. Now remember, this is f of x graph. Some people says ft dt. What the hell does that mean? But it's okay. I will show you why they're related, and you don't need to worry about that t in that situations. So, with that being said, if I just find out what 3 is, that means from 0 to 3 of f of t dt. Now, if I want to plug in x here, then it will be x dx. So here, basically, you can treat it as f of x dx. Here, and then just figure out what's integration from 0 to 3. So 0 to 3 is going to be right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's equal to 11. So that's why I said AP counting. Somebody want to take a stab? What is h of prime of 3? That's a little bit harder. What's h prime of 3? By the way, this worksheet, if I were you, I would try to understand every single damn parts of this worksheet, because 10% of AP exam is on this worksheet. 10%. 10%, that's a very good. So 11 points on AP exam. If you understand 11 points, that's going to be from a 3 to a 4, from 4 to a 5, or from 0 to a 3. So does anybody know how to find h prime of 3? Jared, instead of playing video game, I need you to work on a grade book. I gave it to you earlier. Yeah. Do you have one? Did I give you one?
I think it's
You can take one here. You can just leave it here and just work through on the 3rd period.
Are these ones?
Yeah.
Where should I start?
First page. Only multiple choice though. This is how AP exam is gonna ask questions different than my test, so you're gonna have to learn how to get accustomed to it. Okay, so let's go to the second one. Anybody want to take a step? So the answer is 2 if you got it right. So how do I get a 2? Pay attention to this expressions, right? I'm going to copy this. And guys, pay attention to this. This is everything that you need here. If I want to find h prime, that means I had to find h prime of x. Does that make sense? So that means what I have to do with h of x. I have to do what? Take a derivative. So I'm going to say d to the dx and d to the dx. Is that okay? And on the left side, it's going to be h prime of x. On the right side is d to the dx of 0 to x of ft dt. Now, if I do integration, so this part is a fundamental theorem of calculus, right? What's the integration of ft dt? What's the integration of ft dt? What? What's integration of ft dt? Wow. No.
Of x minus f of 0 is the big F.
Yes. So it's a big f of x between x to 0 and d to the dx of h prime of x, right? And if you take a derivative of that, well, when you take a substitute in there, so that's going to be d to the dx of f of x minus f of 0. Now, if I take a derivative of this, is equal to non-capital F of x times derivative of x, which is 1, minus f of 0 times derivative of 0, which is 0. So that means h prime of x is equal to f of x. Do you understand so far? Now, what's h prime of 3? Well, I know it's equal to f of 3. What's f of 3? It's just 2. So h of 3 is equal to 11. H prime of 3 is equal to 2. Any questions? What's h double prime of 3? Grace? You passed calculus, you fail algebra 1.
It's just 3.
No. You fail both.
-2.
Yes. That's why I say you fail. You fail. It's a -2. Why? Because you look at this point, you look at the slope. Because what happened? If I have this, right, h prime of x, if I take a derivative again, it's h double prime of x is equal to f prime of x, right? But since this is an f of x graph, in order to find the prime, that means I'm looking at the slope of that point. Do you guys understand? So slope of that point is not -1/2, it's -2. Because down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Does that make sense or no? Yes? Okay. Now, if that makes sense, how do you do B? Maybe you guys don't know how to do it. Okay. Anderson, what does it be?
Is it from four to
4 to what?
4 to
You're on the right track. 4 to what? Four to 12. Now, how do I know that? Okay, let's read this question carefully. H is the subject, but what happened to H? What are they looking for? H is what? Decreasing. So I annotate decreasing, right? So that means H of X is not H of X, it's H prime of X, because the prime means decreasing or increasing. Does that make sense? If H prime is something, that's the first derivative. First derivative tells me increasing or decreasing. Is that okay? So it's less than 0. Is that okay? That imply f prime of x, f of x is less than 0, because what happened here? Remember this, right? That means this is less than 0. So this is f of x graph. So when it's less than 0, that means negative region. And that's gonna give you decreasing, which is from here on, it's all below the x-axis. So it's gonna be from 4 to 12. And why do I know it's 12? Because 0 to 12 here, that is the restriction. So you're gonna do a parenthesis from 4 to 12. Next question. At what value does H attain its maximum? Can you tell me which value does H attain its maximum? Again, the subject is H. You got it?
X equals 4.
X equal to 4 is correct. Why is X equal to 4?
That's when H prime goes from increasing to decreasing.
Yep. H prime of X change from H prime of X and f of X changing from positive to negative, or f of X. So this is f of X change from positive to negative. And that's how you justify something. You say it's x equal to 4. You had to understand this whole question. Any part you don't understand, you should not be nodding your head. You should be asking questions. Why is this? Why not this? I think you guys are very good nodder. You just nod your way out. Don't be a nodder. If you don't understand, raise your hand. I don't understand. Can you explain that again? Or can you explain why that is? Come up with the question and ask. Remember, 10% of your AP exam does not require algebra. This is the part that does not require algebra. Anything I did here is nothing to do with algebra. It's all straight calculus and just counting the squares. Is that okay for C or no? Ria, does that make sense? Jordan? Giovanna? Grace is okay? Okay. Now, if it's if you nod your head, so can you tell me where does H attain its minimum? Okay, I know why you're confused. But you guys need to understand, in this case, they're asking absolute minimum. What does absolute minimum mean? It can occur at two different spots. Most importantly, absolute, you had to check the what? Somebody say something there? No. Who says what? The endpoint. Good. Anderson still remember from last year is endpoint. You have to check for the endpoints. So you have to know your endpoints. So when did that occur? Where's the minimum occur and how? What's the minimum value? That's make it harder problem. Not only when did it occur, it asks you what's the minimum value. X equal to 12 is good, but what will be the minimum value? So Grace is come up with a question. I know she didn't ask, but I think she's thinking about the minimum only occur from negative to positive. But this graph never went to negative to positive, right? Is that what your question was? But the problem is not about that. It is about minimum can occur at the endpoint, which is if that has to give you the negative output, then that is the most negative output between 0 to 12. Then that is going to be a minimum value. So that's give you, let's say, national debts, right? You guys all know national debts right now it's like 33 trillion. And that means you guys have to pay for it. I'll be too old to pay for it. I'll be dead. But think about this. Think about this region is a surplus. Right? That means the company, the country is making more money than more export and import. So the country is making money. So at first year you make $4 million. At second year to make $4 million. At third year you make it $2.5 million, and at fourth year you make $500,000. And at this point is when you change from surplus to deficit. Right? So if I were to ask you a maximum value, then that's going to be how much the money you have accumulated the last 4 years. Then in this case, it will be $12 million. If each box is represent 1 million, then that's going to be 12 million. So it will be 12. But after that, what happened? After this point is where the maximum approach. That's how much money the most richest point that you can get. After that, it's all gonna start consume, right? So there's more import and export. So in terms of economics, it's more import and export. So in this case, at this point here, you start have a deficit. Now the quick way to do it is I do it this way. You don't have to do it this way. You can calculate the areas this and calculate this whole shape area. And one is negative, one is positive. Just take the difference. For me, I kind of take a shortcut. So I kind of do like this area is same as this. Now you don't have to do it this way. I do it this way. And I need 8 more squares. So 8 more squares. So this is exactly the same area as the red area. Does that make sense? So it's positive and negative. They count each other. So I basically need to find out this 3 different shape, which is pretty easy. There's TL shapes. At this case is 4, this is 3, and this is 7.5. So that's going to be negative 14.5, and that is going to be the minimum value. Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense, please ask question because most of you guys are not willing to ask question. If you don't ask question, you don't understand. Okay, I'll let you try one. Here, there's a question. Go. Oh, by the way, this question on AP exam, if they ask you to justify, this how you're gonna justify. This one is gonna point out X and Y. Oh, actually, X and F of X, right? So you're always gonna plug in the endpoint and critical point. The endpoint is gonna be 0 and 12. The critical point is gonna be 4. So at 0, I'm gonna get 0 area. At 4, I'm gonna get 12. At 12, I'm gonna get negative 14.5. So this how you justify something using a table to justify, just like before. Before when we want to find out what a minimum value, this is the minimum value. Okay, this is something I did not including last time. So this is how you justify a minimum value because it can occur in endpoints or critical points. Okay, you guys gonna do this question by yourself? And we're gonna go over it. And the rest of the question is up to you guys. Homework. Somebody told me what g of -2 is. I would tell you be careful. What g of -2 is. What? Josh, will you say something? Huh? -3 is wrong. Wesley, like again, I did this on my test. This shit happened again.
Too early in the morning.
It's third period. You have 2 periods a week. You're playing Fortnite for too many hours.
Hey, that was not last night.
So it's a positive 3. The reason why is g of negative 2 is equal to 0 to negative 2 of ft dt. The problem is I don't like that because this is actually more negative. So I want a more negative to be on the bottom. The only way I can do that is put a negative sign in front of it, and that's ft dt. So that negative sign, now I can say, well, since they are below x-axis, so it's also negative 3, so it's actually end up to be positive 3 rather than negative 3. So even you got a sign wrong, you're still gonna penalize you for it. Because the orientation is from low to high. If it's above x-axis, it's positive. Below x-axis, it's negative. Does that make sense? What will be g of 2? What is it? Negative 6 is correct this time, but you had to get the first one right though. What is g of 8? Yeah, because that negative part and positive part is actually cancel out. It's still negative 6. How do I find a 0 of g? Now, do you realize they say zeros? That means there's more than one. I cannot stress enough, this is 10% of the exam. So if you don't know how to do anything before, now is the time to pick up. This is how you change from a red to a yellow to a blue. This is how you do it from beating the AP exam. I'm teaching you crack how to beat AP exam. And this is how you beat the AP exam. All right, what'd you guys get?
0 and negative 4.
0 and negative 4. Why is 0? Well, 0 is a property. Because 0 to the 0 is going to be 0. There's no area under the curve. Negative 4. Do you see that at first you're going to get positive 3, and this one's going to give you negative 3. And then they kind of offset each other, so it's happened at negative 4. What is g prime 0? What is it? G prime 0 is what? No. Who says negative 3? Chauvin, good job. Is that negative 3? What is g prime of 5? Is 0. Good. What is g prime of 8? 3. What is g double prime of 3? 1 is good. And g double prime of 6 is what? It's still 1, right? Okay, so we got additional things. So I hear those are concave down, but then you can try again on the same similar questions.
Like, oh.
So minimum occur at can possibly occur at two places. One is critical point, which is the slope is equal to 0, or it can occur at endpoints. Because what if you have a graph, right? Let's just say if you have just a normal graph, like even though this is a minimum, it's not an absolute minimum. This is absolute. So it can occur at endpoints. All right, you guys' homework is gonna finish as much as you can on all of them. They are not gonna be easy, but also they are not gonna be hard. You're gonna try every single question. If you fail, then come back to go back to drawing board again. You have to try first. Yum, do you got it? No, you get it now. I don't see your airdrop. Can you turn on the airdrop? Huh? Is that to you? Oh my, this is the part. Giovanni, this is the part you don't have to understand a lot of calculations. This is the part you don't have to do too much calculations. 10% of your grade is going to be based on here.
Oh, we can.
You can, I don't care.
I'm gonna be blown away.
You're going to be blown away, it's okay.
Do you have any extra material to help me get better at, like, you saw my fumble there, right? Can I get better at algebra? Do you have anything? Please. I'm desperate.
I don't know how to count the slope. Go down to one.
I know. But how do I stop making stupid mistakes like that? I thought about it and I was like, if I have extra practice with literally just the basics, I can get better at it. I can.
What's your SAT score?
You're gonna think I'm awful for this. I haven't taken the actual SAT yet.
How about PSAT?
PSAT, I think my highest was 1210.
Okay, so you're not awful. You're just careless. There's two way. I don't have a physical things. I have a paper one. It's called Pizzazz. And Pizzazz is just like some algebra one worksheet to go through it, and then they are kind of fun to do. They're just a bunch of puzzles. But they are kind of. I mean, for me, it's kind of fun, but I actually teach little kids to do that. Or the second way is you can get like, I don't know, Math Excel, and I saw one of the things. It's called Efficient. I have my son do it, and I also sold them, but that one need to pay. So if you want to do it without pay, is probably you can have a Pizzazz worksheet and just work through all the Pizzazz worksheet. But they're just like simple things.
Okay. That's what I'm looking for. And then if I can get the simple things down, I can do the harder things. I just need my basics to be relearned.
It's true. It's true. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Ping pong table?
Yes.
Nice.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed at you. You told me you're gonna show up. You didn't show
No,
up.
you let me see if I could show up. You can answer me.
So why not? I don't understand why not. If you're gonna show up, you show up. What I'm gonna say?
Well,
Why I have
asked
to?
you if I didn't know if you were getting school early or not, and you just answer me.
What?
I said, can I come after 7th period, and you left me on red.
Anybody can come. I already told everybody. Anybody can take any period, any format, anything like.
No, because we all had tests, so you nobody really need to be tutored.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Yu.
What?
Nice to meet you. He got the ping pong table. Wagers? $15.
Ping pong.
Yep. $15 per round.
We have a tournament at the end of
I'll
the
make
year.
so much money, son. Elaine, look. The ping pong table. Set it up in the back. Mr. Ye, I'm ready to do better this night.
You better start doing your work.
Yes.
Yep. That. I'm locking in.
Even
Well, I did. No, I was completely unlocked. If we're talking about locking in is good, I was completely unlocked the last.
Let me guess, Josh is not here. Oh, he's here.
I'm pretty sure that second order is my name order. Oh yeah, the migrate's order.
That's not my new year. Well, actually, I'm not looking for New Year because now you're older. You have to give away red envelope. Like when you're younger, you want to get red envelope.
Oh, God. It's a
Four all-nighter to fix your sleep schedule.
Yeah, so it's cold right now, so it's actually.
If you don't go to sleep like really late, you have to go to sleep at a time you feel tired of. You can go to sleep at a normal time. But it's so over. I fell asleep so hard. Like I slept for hours.
So Luke was selling it. Yeah, he's not the one probably.
No, there's some other people.
Nobody wants to what?
Okay, first thing, Madison, you guys didn't come in on that Friday. That Friday we went over the whole test, and you need to find a way to go over the whole test because that's how you get better. I haven't put in a score yet. Simon's on time for the first time. Case is here. You got a new Croc. Do they have sports mode? They do have sports mode?
Straight from Timu.
Straight from what?
Timu.
Temu?
Really?
Are you kidding me?
Chase, come on.
Chase, you know how we're not friends?
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
Nothing.
Do you buy Timu, Mr. Year?
That's true.